You've come to London or you're thinking about joining as a queer person. How do you get involved?
What is it like to live as a queer person in London? Our identities and experiences vary widely from one another, making this a difficult question to answer. I am queer, and yet as a cisgender lesbian, I only make up a small part of the community. So could I really say that my experience is representative of the queer experience as a whole?
We all have different experiences as queer people, but what do we share? For me, I think the answer might be community. The experience of both being an outsider looking into the heterosexual world and also an insider. Or, if you were like me when I started London, the experience of wanting to be an insider, but finding it really difficult to actually get involved in queer culture. I dreamt so long about getting a fully queer friendship group and going to all of the gay spots. And yet when I first came to London, I actually found it really hard to actually find a way in. So when I originally decided to make this video, my plan was just to write out a really long list of queer spaces that you could go, and I thought this is a great idea because when I first came to London, I'd have killed for a list like this. It's actually really difficult to find places to go that aren't just the massive nightclubs, so Heaven nightclub, which is a good nightclub, but I was looking for more small indie spaces which are queer, maybe nightclubs, but maybe also bookshops or discussion groups, and I didn't have them, and so I thought, this is a really good idea. But when I actually started filming the video, I realised that not only was it actually quite boring, just having me reading out a really long list, but also I realised that it actually didn't do justice to the queer experience, because we are more than just people who want to go to nightclubs, we are more than just people who want to go to bookshops. Because being queer, whether for better or for worse, is you can't change it, it's constant, it is an immersive experience, which is both a scary thing sometimes, living in a world which is homophobic and transphobic, but also a beautiful thing, I think. And so instead I just wanted to end with a discussion of my experience of being queer in London, because it has been so positive and so beautiful, and I just wanted to let anyone who is maybe having a little bit of a hard time living somewhere which is maybe smaller, smaller village like me, or somewhere where they don't feel they can fully be themselves. I think I wanted this video to be reassuring, so I'm going to end on my experience. So I started off life in London as a person who knew that they were lesbian, but really never had really expressed it. I had very, very little experience of actually being in the queer community. I had a couple of queer friends at home, but really, I went to a heterosexual based school. There was like 2 other queer people. And so I didn't really actually have much experience of it, And I now sit a year and a half later with very short hair, which may be a stereotype, but since I'm a lesbian, I feel like I can engage in it. For me, it's an expression of the fact that I'm gay, and I love it. I love having short hair. I sit here now having experienced queer things, gone to loads of queer stuff, engaging in queer theatre. I'm actually, on Friday, I'm actually playing at a Pride showcase. I'm playing some of my songs on guitar, which I wrote about being queer, which is wonderful. I'm really happy that I can do that. And I won't lie, there are a couple of hiccups in the road. So when I first started off in London, obviously I couldn't find the queer spaces. I actually found it a little bit difficult to find queer people. You will find them, do not worry. If you don't immediately meet loads of queer people, you will, because it's a big city, there's big universities, there's going to be lots of queer people. And, like the past year and a half has just been me trying to figure an in into the community and trying to go to spaces. And all I can say is that it might be hard at first. It might even be a little bit intense at first if you haven't really engaged with the community much at all before you come. But it is beautiful, it can be a beautiful thing. London is massive, there's so many people, and it is just a space where you can truly be yourself. And that's just what I wanted to impart. It's a space where you can be queer and you can be happy, and that's beautiful.